What's good, y'all? I know I'm looking rough as hell. This is late. I had a death in the family. I had been doing a lot of moving around, had some traveling I had to do, some emergency traveling I had to do because of the death in the family and other things that were kind of going on. So I apologize for y'all that I haven't been keeping the schedule as I said that I would do or as intended. So, but as best I can, I will get myself back on track to presenting the information and to presenting these shows to you on a more of a regular basis. So that way you can have something to count on when it comes to your boy Seven Your Dick. Anyway, with that said, let's get on with it. You ever watch someone walk into a debate so confident only to get verbally cooked like they showed up to a chess match with Uno cards? Candace Owens tried to convince a room that we live in a matriarchy. And Princella, the queen maker, brought stats, studies, and street smarts and left Candace blinking like she forgot her damn line. Then you got Jordan Peterson, who got bodied by actual kids over a question as basic as, are you even a Christian, sir? And then Mehdi Hasan, right? He didn't debate racists. He exposed them. And some of them ended up jobless as a result. Not because they lost the debate, but because the truth walked into the room wearing a microphone. Debate used to be about truth. Now it's about performance. You don't need credentials. You need a catchphrase. You don't need citations. You just need sponsorships. And if you're wondering how we got here, well, you're in the right place. This is Society Breakdown. Peace, and blessings. What's good? This is your boy Seven Inglewood's on right now in your zone, and this is another episode of Society Breakdown, where we take the broken and piece it together with a little bit of laughter, logic, and just a soupçon of 7 cents. And today we're talking about shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. And I know that sounds like a Kevin Samuels throwback, but nah. This is about debates. In this new era where going viral is key, facts no longer matter. And the kayfabe of content presents real fights in the comment section. But with that said, we'll be answering 3 major questions today, right? Who really benefits from the illusion of debate, and what are they distracting us from? Why is online discourse turned into intellectual cosplay instead of honest inquiry? And how do we return to meaningful conversations in a world built on outrage and monetized beef? Let's go. All right, let's be honest. Channels like PBD, Vice, and Jubilee, they are not here to solve your problems or any social issues. They are here to spike engagement and juice that retention grab, baby. They need that money, and they need you to feel something. At this point, all signs point to outrage because nothing grinds the gears of people without a grasp of what they think they believe in more than somebody just saying simply, you're wrong. They don't even have to say why they think they're wrong. They just got to say that they're wrong, and that in itself can cause a debate. But take some of Jubilee's recent episodes, for example, right? You had Indian British journalist Mehdi Hasan, who bodied a room full of racist fascists. The racists felt emboldened enough to say how the man shouldn't be here, America should be white only, that immigrants don't belong unless there's some sort of work that they think that they're too good for, and well, those racists got fired from their real jobs as a result. And speaking of fired, you got Candace Owens, seen here still looking like she still has no black friends, who got shredded by Princella the Queen Maker, who, look, this is a woman who personally I always thought looks like this dude. If any of y'all are in the space of the 5%ers and that sort of knowledge, you know exactly who this guy is. But I digress. But even with that, the woman calmly backed old Candace into a statistical chokehold with facts and a direct approach. I mean, the lady said we live in a matriarchy based on women's influence, which is like saying that we live in a Jewish country based on... Then Professor Emeritus Jordan Peterson couldn't even articulate if he was a Christian, if he believed in God, or what his actual beliefs were. And he ended up getting baptized in smoke by Gen Z theologians with scripture, sarcasm, and a serious bone to pick. The man stuttered so hard you'd think the faith was a pop quiz and he forgot to study for it. And look, none of those clips ended in consensus, but they did rack up millions of views because that's the goal, especially for Jubilee and other platforms like it. They want spectacle, not solutions. I mean, while we're busy debating pronouns and whose God is bigger, because I'm sure that's going to be in the next episode. Not mine, Jubilee. Governments are plotting the next covert attack on Yemen. Presidents are throwing deflected red herrings quicker than you could say Jeffrey Epstein. And corporations are quietly rewriting labor laws in their Slack channels. Bottom line up front, the performance of debate distracts us from what actually matters. And it keeps us from getting to the truth, keeps us from getting to the heart of the issue, and it prevents us from having any sort of anything. It creates factions. But that's exactly what they want. But nowadays, everybody's got a mic drop comment, and a merch link below. I mean, for real though, we're to the point where social media gave everybody a platform with no vetting. So that means that James, the nigga hating dolphin, got as much of a voice as Dr. James, the psychologist. It may not be in alignment with what should happen, but with our Constitution being what it is, this is where we are. And they use that to justify it. So being confidently wrong is now a career path. I remember when I was going through my process to join my fraternity, and one of the gentlemen who was going through the process with me was really horrible under pressure. He was very bold, but he was very horrible with presenting actual cogent information. But because he was so bold, he rarely had any issues. So for example, it was just something as simple as saying the alphabet. We were asked to say the alphabet. Say it now, say the alphabet. And he would go A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, Q, R, X, Y, Z. That's what A, B, C, D, Q, R, X, Y, Z is what he would say. And they'd be, yeah, all right, let's go. But he said with so much bravado, like he meant it, Whereas other people who would like say the alphabet A, B, C, D, because, sometimes people got to sing it, which is weird when you're an adult. But anyway, I digress. But some people would sing the alphabet to say it, and they were the ones who were catching hell. Whereas bold guy who said it wrong, he got no issues. And that's unfortunately where we live right now. Like, do y'all remember shame? I do. It used to be that self-regulating piece of, your own humanity that told you to shut the fuck up before somebody else did. Nowadays, that's a business plan. It's all cosplay, right? You get vibes over verification, emotion over education, because what you feel matters 10 times more than what facts can actually provide. Case in point, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, the self-help TikTok priestess with speculative, get it out, credentials, motivational quips for every dysfunction except for her own, and no man, but maybe a woman, I don't know. But this woman sells a certificate in life coaching for $10,000. Mind you, life coaching isn't a real job and definitely does not require certification, but that's not what people are thinking about. They're thinking about how she owned Cam Newton on his own show. They think about her responses to Corey Holcomb when he had something to say about her. That's the things that they think about. They think about the virality of her instead of thinking about the actuality of her. You know what I'm saying? They don't think about her credentials coming from a now defunct online university. They think about how pretty she looked and how them memories was on display. You know what I'm saying? That's what they think about when they think about, oh, them hazel eyes, and look at that skin, and look, it looks just like my coffee, and look at them, the memories. I mean, that's what you get. Look, the woman has a website all full of products and maybe some service for a fee, but no substance, and everything is at a cost. And parts of the site honestly look like it was thrown together on Wix. I mean, look, when you get Paul Pierce, who being the voice of reason, that the simulation is glitched. I mean, so look, this is a man who got fired for being on IG Live with strippers and weed, and he can still see a fraud from half court, but y'all can't? Come on, man. I mean, he basically exposed her as possibly being the side chick in a specious, semi-secret relationship with somebody who's 9 years younger than her, or she may even be the bi or perhaps shit talking, man hating lesbian, according to Tasha K. And I didn't say that. Tasha K said that. But either way, the fact is that he's from her same neighborhood and he wasn't buying the hype. But a lot of y'all are. Then we got Dr. Umar Johnson, right? Same game, different hustle. Once again, not married, but talking about relationships. Bringing in the women and always talking about my brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters. You know, bringing you in with that. You know what I'm saying? Talking about my black queens forever, snow bunnies never. You know, hey, and it sounds great. It should be a t-shirt. He should be selling merch, honestly. But you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the actuals of what the man is talking about, what do we see? We see that he's smashing all the gullible, fishy smelling single mothers. He said that, not me.
Siobhan Stone, Lene Stacks, Throat Goat, Hood Rat, Jump Off, Fishy Coochie, the queen of Fishy Coochie.
Out there who is still thinking that his school is going to open any day now while also having speculative credentials himself and living off donations. Man, let me slow down before he calls his goons. I'm sorry.
That Papa Smurf shit ain't going to get us nowhere. You feel me? Hold on. Yeah. Nah, I got this.
But for real, all that man does is deliver speeches. I remember when he came to Kansas City in 2010 and he was pushing his school back then. When he came back in 2023, he was doing the same thing, and he even had some brother removed when the brother was asking about the first school that never opened. And I'm just saying, y'all, the dude has been building this school since Obama's second term, and it still ain't got no damn plumbing. I'm just saying, he got less of a school and more of a traveling GoFundMe sermon at this point. You know what I'm saying? I did. You tell me if you see anything different. And because I was there when he came in 2023, or was it 2024? Either way, I was there. Do you know that this dude had the nerve to ask for another school so he could do the same thing? What is the same thing? The same what? Get more money and donations for a facility and school and place that will never open? I mean, look, we actually have a school here that could use some direction that's been closed for, it's been used for a myriad of reasons, right? Since its closure in 2011. But ain't no way any of y'all need to let that N-word anywhere close to it. And then meanwhile, so we got those two, right? We got Dr. Cheyenne, we got Dr. Umar, right? And then on the other side, we got Dr. James,
no relation,
who's putting out data-driven breakdowns, holding men and women accountable with logic, nuance, and professionalism, quite frankly. And he's getting slandered or ignored because he's not messy enough to trend. I mean, the real problem isn't them, though. It's us. We want truth to sound smooth, to look fly, to have big titties, rhyme on cue, and repeat itself for our small brains to get it. To repeat itself for our small brains to get it. To repeat itself for our small brains to get it, my brothers and sisters. So we elevate charisma over credibility. And we end up following grifters who are dressed like gurus. So how do we move past content cosplay and get back to something that actually resembles dialogue? Personally, I say everybody wants to be the person on stage, but nobody wants to be in the audience anymore. I mean, clips are edited for punchlines nowadays. Long form debate is now a TikTok montage, and every hot take is a marketing funnel. So there's no room for curiosity when you're selling certainty. You know, you are absolutely sure about this thing, whatever it is you're talking about, even if it's wrong. You know, I remember talking with one of my cousins about this job he had. He was an electrician. And once he said he basically just checks his brain at the door, works his 8 hours, and checks his brain out once he leaves. Great strategy for the workday, especially if your thoughts tend to, you know, interfere with what you got going on. And even more so when you make as much money as he does. But I don't think that's really a good strategy to navigate life. Yeah, maybe I'm just a stickler, my bad. Because, you know, there was a time when we would argue to learn. Now, we just argue to earn. And personally, I believe there's an algorithmic incentive to never learn. Staying perpetually stupid is just part of the design, kids. Learn something. I keep telling you about reading and cracking books. Read the words in it too. Do that. Just saying. So, like nowadays, real-time correction doesn't pay. You've seen it tons of times. Like it's a good moment when you're looking at someone online who's correcting Trump while he's talking. I'm sorry, Trump. Somebody who's correcting Trump when he's, spouting about who knows whatever, and they get corrected. But a lot of times it doesn't land with the audience. It just lands with the people who already knew that he was full of shit. It don't land with the people who were sitting there saying, he's our guy. They hear something new, some new information. Doesn't matter. He's our guy. You know what I'm saying? So there's no virality in humility anymore. Shamed isn't shameful. Insults are cues for content. Nobody is guilty. And if you don't know shit, you believe them when they say that they're right, regardless of what they say.
There's promotions that you want. You're not going to get it until you make that sacrifice to God. Line up right here. I know what I'm talking about. Older and younger. I know you in here because the prophecy don't lie. The Spirit of the Lord don't lie. The Spirit of the Lord don't lie.
Basically, the algorithm rewards rage, not revelation. You ever notice how no one ever changes their mind anymore? And that's because change don't make change, baby. That's to say, it doesn't touch their bottom line. It doesn't inflate their bottom line when you're actually informed. Jubilee debates aren't built to change minds. They're built to create moments and rage content, it seems. So clips of Candace, Jordan, and Priscilla all went viral, but did anything change? I look at that like I look at churches. So y'all bear with me. I'm not religious, and I'm gonna say that first. But like when men, especially in the Christian faith, or Christian, Baptist, however, in the Christian faith. But like when pastors are ministers are laying their hands on the congregation, and suddenly the person receiving his touch is suddenly running around or passing out or jumping up and down, whatever. Yeah, sure, you got a good workout, but did anything change? Did it pay a bill? Cure a ill? Bring back Uncle Phil? Then what are we doing? I digress. I'm just saying, a moment of introspection doesn't get clipped, but a shouting match, doing something crazy, all that stuff, that's gold. That's absolute gold nowadays. And with that, people become wary of what part of the conversation will be posted, which leads to people who think about stuff like that to possibly pause before speaking their truth. So I guess there is some solace in the fact that some people do have a little bit of shame still. But the cost of these performances is that largely people live in fear of being clipped out of context, to the point that we'll mistake silence for submission and volume for victory. Public thinkers now spend more time managing their image than challenging their ideas. Because the bottom line is nobody wants to be embarrassed. Nobody wants to feel that shame. And that's what it comes down to. When the price of learning is public humiliation, nobody is going to buy that lesson. Think about that. Societal pressure to be dumb is some wild shit. But if idiocracy is any clue, it ain't too far from becoming a reality. So what do real conversations look like now, Seven? Honestly, in my opinion, they're messy. They're uncomfortable, and most of the time, they are not filmed. Private platforms are better, especially if you're trying to explore different thoughts, different ideologies, than public platforms. So small group discussions are safer for honesty than public stages. Usually those are designed for spectacle, right? For somebody to make some innocuous statement that gets the crowd to whoop and holler, but usually those are empty statements at best. It's that church or that political event, or even that what was it, last night? Who the people? Last night, yesterday people, or what conversation? The people who were together, now they broke up because now the internal turmoil or whatever. Those, like any of those, they always have these viral moments of something cool to say, and I said this, and you shouldn't, and all of that stuff. Like, yeah, it sounds good in the moment. Does anything change from that? Usually no. No one's changing their behaviors. Nobody's changing their frame of thought. And nobody has a problem with disrespecting somebody else. And speaking of disrespect, It's like nowadays we're to a point where disagreement, people think disagreement is disrespect. I mean, look, you can challenge somebody's ideas without trying to cancel the person that's holding them. I really hate it when people are arguing ideas and it ends with an ultimatum like, if you can't see it the way I see it, then we have nothing else to discuss. Damn the 30 years of issueless friendship that you've had with that person to that point. Winning at everything. That's what it is. I must be right at all costs. You know, I actually had a discussion with somebody like that over the presidential election. Now, I won't go into what exactly was said, but I'll just say I did not vote for Trump, but I did have questions about Kamala, and that was enough to make her question our friendship. However, from that, I learned that uncertainty isn't weakness. At least not for me, it is. I didn't feel weak. I just felt like these are some things that I have some questions about. These are some things I'm uncertain about. These are some things that I'd like more clarity on. And I don't think it's wrong to seek clarity for those things. Admitting that you don't know stuff ain't soft. It's mature. It's what adults do too. Please don't think that because you're over the age of 18 or because that you can rent a car without a cosigner that you are infallible. You're not. Let me be the first to tell you, you're not. Now, I'm not saying to question your mere existence at every turn, but you know when you don't know shit. And that's okay. But that should be a cue to learn it. That is, if that thing, whatever it is important to you. I mean, if you've never changed your mind mid-conversation, in my opinion, you're not talking. You're just preaching. And if this is what you're preaching,
There's 21 people in this building that God said will give $1,000. He said 21 people in this building, come now wherever you are. Give me an envelope. Give me some envelopes. He said 21 people, come now wherever you are. $1,000 ain't nothing in comparison to what God's going to do.
Then there's no wonder why there's very little change. Well, with the exception of your change.
Over $6,000 to Louis Vuitton.
This is for clothes concerning my TV.
Louis Vuitton.
Well, you can call whatever you want.
So let's do this. Let's stop rewarding outrage. Let's embrace long form. Watch full interviews, read full pieces, and let's choose actual thinkers over influencers. Seek substance over sound bites. Debate isn't war. It's a workshop. The goal isn't destruction, it's construction. The question is, who are you building with? And look, if ChatGPT is the only one that agrees with you, it may be your first clue to get outside, talk to real people, and touch some grass. What I'm saying is, we don't need mic drops. We need more raised eyebrows, more tilted heads, more people saying, damn, I never thought about it like that. More, wait, run that back moments instead of who won comments. You know what I'm saying? So where does that leave everything? I'll say, from my opinion, if you're not arguing to learn, you're arguing to lose. Even if you win, you know what I'm saying? And some things that you can think of to help you along the way include, 1, debate is not performance, okay? So if your goal is to go viral, you ain't debating, you were auditioning. And for what? A guest spot on the next Griftathon podcast, another terrible online course. See how I'm writing 10 easy steps. I'm in choir, not included. 2, support real thinkers. You know what I'm saying? Find and fund the ones who are offering depth, discomfort, and data. People like Dr. James are rare, especially when they don't come with a $10,000 coaching bundle or school coming soon, my brothers and sisters, Cash App link that they can use to buy more herpes medication. You know what I'm talking about. 3, stop curating your beliefs. Algorithms feed you what you already agree with. Step outside the echo. I know everybody doesn't go online looking for facts. I get it. Many of y'all go to be entertained. But in case you are looking for something outside of entertainment, follow people who challenge you with substance, not just a I'm right, and if you disagree, you don't exist type of attitude. You know what I'm saying? Again, we're adults. Because honestly, That's what bitches do. And I ain't saying male or female. I'm saying bitches. Take that how you want. Next, read and reward long-form thought. Sometimes the truth is, not bite-sized. It needs some space and time and nuance to be fleshed out. Clips are gonna fail you. They failed me, but context won't. I actually failed this myself in a recent discussion that I was having with another cousin who's currently studying the Torah under a rabbi, and I asked his thoughts on something that I saw from the Talmud. It was just a clip though, right? Now, I honestly just wanted to know his thoughts and opinions, but because I'm not religious, and it seems that when you are so, and you talk to people who are, or at least studying, they get defensive about anything religion-based that you present. So that ended with him saying that he's not here to debate, when I wasn't there either. I wasn't for that either. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to, get his opinion. But I also didn't have the context to have a better understanding of what it was that I was even sharing. And with that, I can admit I was wrong. And I'll do better, cousin. No offense. And lastly, choose curiosity over clout. Be okay with saying, I don't know. That's where real growth takes place. That's where it lives. And that's where real conversations begin. Because in a world obsessed with mic drops, maybe the real power move is picking up a book. But look, if you are still watching this, that means that you are not allergic to nuance, and that is rare. And we appreciate you. But y'all let me know, what is one debate me bro moment that you saw online that taught you nothing but got millions of views anyway? I'm sure I could name like 10. But go ahead and drop yours in the comments and share this with somebody that you almost debated just last week. And subscribe if you want to be a part of the 7th Army and you want more of this blend of clarity, comedy, and a little cultural critique. Because when debate becomes dopamine and truth becomes theater, somebody got a call cut. And that's what we do here at Society Breakdown, baby. I have been your boy 7 Blackman, and until next time, y'all take care of each other. I love y'all. Peace. And I'm out.